sure I don't hit a car, talk a little bit about the premise behind this. Essentially, if you were doing a bug out, what that means is, for whatever reason, the place where you're at, the place where you're staying, is no longer habitable. Maybe earthquake happened, maybe civil unrest, maybe an EMP broke electronic devices, which obviously you got a car, that wouldn't count. But either way, for whatever reason, the place that you're staying, you need to bug out of, usually to another location. What we're simulating today is you would leave with a vehicle. You would take all the gas that you have. If you prepared, you can put a couple of 10-gallon tanks or things of gas in a shed or whatever, not inside your house. It's flammable. And when it's time to go, you grab a go bag and grab your gas and go. Well, for us, we've got snowmobiles, so essentially for our scenario, we grab gas, grab the snowmobiles, a go bag, and a ski poke sled, which I'll show you later, and you go. And the reason why you do that is you take the truck as far as it can go. If you make it the whole way, great. If you don't, you get on the snowmobile. And if you don't make it, if you ran out of gas on the snowmobile, you go on foot. We've got skis and snowshoes and some sustainment ability. So that way we can live out here as long as we can find food and shelter, which we're going to pack with us, or until we make it to our location. Okay, we have driven our vehicle in, went as far as we could, got the snowmobiles. We're simulating running out of gas and parking them here. And now we're going to go on foot into our OP, our observation point, or AO, or area of operation, whatever. So, this is how we're going to do it. Backcountry skis with a ski poke. Thank you to Ashley at skipolk.com. Give me a cool hat. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. This is a ski poke. Essentially what it is a sled that I bought online, and the parts I got from skipolk.com, which I hooked to a military belt, but you can hook it up to a rock climbing harness or the belt on your backpack or wherever you want. I found 99% of the weight in the sled is so much better than any weight on my back. So I put some small stuff on my chest rig, radio, pistol, just some basic things. And then the rest of it I just hook up right here and I go from there. We've got 3 of these guys. This is Jay, and an awesome cameraman back there. Can you say hi?
Howdy.
All right. I'm standing on about 6 or 7 feet of snow roughly. Kind of gives you an idea of why you need either backcountry skis or snowshoes or both. Tighten these guys up. So, guy. Pop down, but you can see it's a little outhouse down there. My antenna's on my face. Nice little titanium antenna. But in a pinch, this would be a great shelter. But have some mechanism to bust the door open, even if it's a rock. You get inside of here, spend the night until you need to move out. Obviously don't go breaking stuff if you're not really in an emergency situation, but if you are, this is the way to go about it. Trying to see down that hole. I jumped down in there, I'm not getting back out. Into the snow right here, set up 3 tents, put the fire in the middle. You want to put your fire on the ground if you can. We'll see how deep this snow is. If it's 7 feet deep, I might just put a couple logs down and float that fire on the snow. We will see what we see. So for now, I'm digging out. One thing I look for, it's all soft snow. This is what's come down today. And then this.
Fluffy deliciousness.
Yes. It's what's left.
You don't even have to shovel it, you can scoop it. But
yeah.
This stuff.
That's chunky, but you want to put those chunky ones, you kind of build yourself a snow fort around the outside of your circle. That build it up, helps the snow to curl and dump right there. It also stops the wind and acts as a windbreak. Where we're this close to a lake, winds will come off that lake. So we're gonna want a decent windbreak when we set it all up. So, something to watch for. One thing you can do too is chop yourself a little block, pop it out, and throw it. Kind of helps you move chunks a little bit better when you're down in here. So that's what you want to look at when you pick yourself a campsite. Dig in the snow, get down on the ground, set your tent up, and we'll get the fire started, and then if I've got time, I'll go out there and drill a hole and do a little bit of fishing. This is a super down and dirty on how to check for avalanche conditions. You need to take a class on this. But basically stated, we have this fresh stuff right here, okay? That's called hoarfrost. It's just really light. This is a harder brick. You can feel it. Soft happens right there. And then there's another brick right there. What you want to look for is this soft stuff in between these hard things. And what you do is you'll dig yourself all the way to the ground, and then you'll stand on it. And if it whoops, that means that that you have a really high probability of avalanche condition. Essentially what's happening is heavy wet snow laid down, light frozen, unsticky, soft hoarfrost laid down, and then heavy wet snow laid down, and then that light stuff laid down. There's two kind of avalanches. One is a powder avalanche. It's just all this soft stuff. One is a block avalanche. That happens when you've got a block on that soft stuff, because once it breaks free, everything slides down. 36 degrees, I'm eyeballing this is 45, so just short of it. That's the magical slope, and that's about what people would walk on. So 36 degrees will kill you. Beneath that has a tendency to not slide. Above that has a tendency to not stick. So around that 36 to 40, 32, 40-ish bar, and right on 36 degrees, stay off that angle of slope. You want to step on this?
Everybody has a built-in avalanche slope gauge right on their hand. You go like this with your fingers, it makes 45 degrees. If your slope is in there somewhere, that's what you want to watch out for.
So, watch out for the piece. He's going to stand on this. This is not a deep enough test pit because we're doing it quick. He's going to bounce a little bit. And it's solid.
Pretty solid.
So if this, oh, there you go.
I have to really work on it to collapse it.
Now you can kind of see the fracture line right here. That's the soft stuff. And that's where it fractured above it. So you got two blocks on top of each other. This is the soft stuff, and this is the soft stuff. And it's not really unstable here, but I still would stay off 36-degree slopes in this area. You can't. Pretty much, I'm digging through snow with slush underneath it, which is unfortunate because I'm gonna have to dig through the slush to get to the ice, which is a little bit creepy. So once I dig a hole, and I brought my auger, we'll stick a little bit of fishing stuff down inside of there, see if we can have a fish for dinner. It's getting close to dark. So I'm getting deeper. I'm running out of auger. If I run out of auger, I'm gonna have to go find another lake tomorrow. I'm not going through that wet with a hatchet. That's no fun. Oh, I think that may have broke through. I hope so. That's some deep ice. This is what happens when it freezes, and then it snows, and then it melts, and then it snows on top of it. You got multiple layers of ice and water you got to cut through, and tons of slush you got to dig out. Otherwise, your hook won't even make it in. I have made this little sheath right here out of Kydex. It's just on a little 550 cord around my neck. It's got a Avalanche Exotech striker with some cotton and petroleum jelly in the back of it. I could literally fall in the lake, crawl out, and start a fire with it if it gets wet, and it's on my person, can't lose it. This is Spyderco's Bushcraft UK, or Bushcrafter. It's their Bushcrafter knife that they made in partnership with Bushcraft UK. It is scary sharp. My friend Jake Paul at Wild Jake Survival sharpened it for me because we used this last fall in the other Bugout video, and I needed to put another edge on it. Didn't even put any force on that. Slit right through it like butter. Creepy, creepy sharp. Okay, so what I'm doing here, grab that out. Is I'm going to lash this. You just need to tie it so it doesn't come apart. And that's all I'm really doing. We've got a hole. Got 3 sticks. Wrap around a couple times. Lash isn't quite the right word. I'm just going to tighten a knot. Now, on my other video, I took the guts out. You can make a lot of rope, almost 5 or 6 times the length of rope if you gut the thing. It's not as strong, but for this, it's perfect. I don't need to do that. I've got plenty of 550 cord this time. And I'm just going to tie a little knot, a little square knot. Evidently, it's a granny knot, but whatever. And that gives me a platform to run my yo-yo trap. So, Blade HQ sells this little fishing kit. I bought it, caught 3 fish on just this kit. I added some bait, some more bait in there. Everything else I need is already in the kit. And I bought a yo-yo trap. In my last video, I got 100 people asking me where to get the yo-yo trap. Just go to eBay and type yo-yo trap. They're like 4 for 20 bucks is what they should run. So if you have to take your gloves off, for instance, to put a hook on, what you want to do, stuff it in your coat. Stick it right in there next to your body. That way when you put your hands back in your gloves, they're going to be warm. Don't set it down. They have a tendency to have snow fall inside of them and make you cold. It's plenty below freezing right now. I have no idea what the temperature is. I'm guessing, what do you say, 20 degrees? Maybe about 20 degrees. It's cold. I don't know what it is, but it's cold. So anyway, I've taken that off to rig that up, put my glove away, and then I can put it back on when I'm done. Little tip. So the time that it's taken me to put my glove in my jacket, put a little thing on the hook, and take my glove out, the ice has frozen over right there. So what you need to use is a little spoon. And these are frozen too. Frozen's okay on the outside because it's a shell on your clothes, but wet on the inside, frozen on the outside, that's bad. Scrape this out. I may need a heavier hook in order to get through all that ice. We will see. I poked my hole, I got a weight on there. That weight is gonna make it sink all the way to the bottom. I can see it sucking it down there. Pulls it down. And now I'm gonna let it sit. And what I'm gonna need to do to keep this from freezing is I'm gonna stick some boughs in the hole. So that way, when we come back in a little while later tonight or in the morning, it's not frozen over and I can actually get my hook out. Learned that little trick after bug out number 1. Here's my pine boughs. These are the same boughs that I pulled off on my sticks. Stick them right in there like that. What it will do is keep that hole from freezing. And then we wait. Okay, I want to show you 2 ways to start a fire. When you're cold, like I'm kind of cold right now, again, you stick your glove in the jacket so that it doesn't get any more wet. There's a right way and a wrong way to light a match. Okay? The wrong way is what most people do. They grab it while they're cold and they break the stick. Okay? The right way is to grab it with 2 fingers down like this. Okay? And then light it and cover it up with your hands. Okay? That's the right way to light with the match. Grab it with your finger, strike it down. When you're cold, you can just put your hands together and close it from the wind and start your fire. However, what you need first is a nest. This little ball of nest material. Okay. Stringy tree bark, my nest. I'm gonna spread out a little bit. And I'm actually kind of warm there, getting a little bit warmer down in this little hole. Out of the wind. Yeah, I got a lighter with me, but that would be cheating. So, pull this little guy out. Pull out my knife. What you want to do is use the back of the blade, and I'm putting my glove back on because it's cold. I don't need that now. Use the back of the blade and pull the striker away. That may not even work. We are in a very oxygen-poor environment. all it takes is one little chunk of spark to hit that char cloth, and then that turns into an ember, which lights your bark. And I was smart enough to gather a bunch of bark before coming up here, so I have multiple fire starting options, not including a butane torch and a Zippo. That shows why you need multiple ways to start fire. I'm gonna keep blowing on this and get it big and boil some water.